Prompted by historian friends and family members, I've come to understand the difference between history and news. The line of distinguishing one from another is often quite broad and highly subjective. This historical presentation won't be covering events into the 1980s and beyond. Rather, we'll examine a few of the occurrences and trends of the modern era that are peculiar to Lancaster County. As we turn into more recent years, nostalgia and personal connections with events, trends, and historical places really kicks in. It becomes difficult to sift and sort the truly impactful county history from the deeply personal memories of one's life and family. Meaning no disrespect to sacrifices made by so many, my content here will not cover any of the wars during this time period. They become more markers in our understanding of what happened here. As always, the Plain Sect continued to stand apart while our county population grew. It was those same Plain Sect whose tradition and way of life attracted a substantial new industry of sorts, tourism, fueled by the convenience of the automobile and the brand new interstate system of roads. People came here to seek the bucolic vistas of farmland and the quaint lifestyle. In some ways, these visitors interrupted life here or helped folks make an extra buck or two along the way. There was even a Broadway musical about the Plain Sect here. This type of trend resulted in an almost out of control sprawl along the Lincoln Highway, which is already quite commercialized. Today, we are seeing the natural pivoting of such concerns as customer base changes. In response to the commercialization and radical changes to the beloved landscape, several preservation advocacy groups formed. One stunning group was the Conestoga Valley Association, with Earl Redman at the forefront. He spoke out frequently and unrelentingly for historic resources to be protected, for the history of Lancaster to be retold, and especially for restoration and enjoyment of the Conestoga River. I must admit, I do have a bit of fondness for what Earl did and try to continue his work. A very successful effort to save and restore General Edward Hand's home was one famous and sustaining preservation project that was achieved from multiple advocacy groups and governmental agencies. But environmentalism was also becoming more than a rallying cry. Groups like the Lancaster Conservancy, Lancaster Farmland Trust, the Historical Preservation Trust, Lancaster History, and many other local historical societies organized, raised funds, and rolled up their sleeves to protect the resources and character of our county. The 1960s were a time of great social upheaval throughout the county, as well as across the country. One of the more interesting stories of the struggles against racism took place at several public swimming pools. Activists organized entrance tests where a white person entered, followed by a Black person being denied, and then followed again by another white person being admitted. This was used then in a lawsuit that reached the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, which in 1963 orders those pools to be open to all. As we know, this was not the end of racism here, not by a long shot. Automobile traffic continued to rise as more and more people moved here and as more farmland was lost to neighborhoods, factories, and shopping malls. All that pavement and those roof areas really contributed to a massive flooding throughout the county in June of 1972 when Agnes came to town.